Mr. Ajay Chitkara, Director and CEO, Airtel Business, who will take us through significant and fascinating aspects of enterprise transformation which can be enabled by the next generation technology 5G and Airtel's focus on B2B space. Mr. Chitkara is the ideal, in fact, the best person to speak on this topic, as under his tenure, Airtel's B2B segment has touched new heights and is called the jewel in Airtel's crown. Welcome, Mr. Chitkara.
Thank you.
Thank you. So let me start with asking you, Airtel has emerged as a strong player in the B2B space. With the onset of 5G, how do you see digital transformation happening across enterprises?
Look, I think there are a lot of people who talk technology. So I'll just talk about trend because Shyam already shared the technology. I'll not go into that. Few changes are happening in the market around the world. First, COVID came. Everyone started moving from work to home. War happened, although we all feel this is Ukraine war which is going through. But I think the one thing which we are saying, there is an impact on economy. There is an impact on the chip. I was not aware before that this chip is to be used in 160 different industries. So supply chain impacted big time every industry which is there. There is recession already happening in the market. One good thing also which we see, India is shining. People are talking about India. I think that's another shift which we have seen. All of them has an impact on Indian B2B customers. And if you go and talk to them, these customers are saying, we have three big issues. The first issue, recession is there, COVID is there, our business is not growing, help us grow the business. All technologies, everything which you are doing, tell us how can you help us grow the business in every single day. Second feedback which they are giving is, help us reduce the cost for us. And the third feedback is, during this process, the digital transformation got accelerated. How can you help us in these three things? We all, sitting in this room, need to solve these three key problems of our customer, and that's where what we are doing as a company. We are building products. After listening to them, we are trying to solve some of these real problems for them.
Airtel has transformed from a telecom player to kind of a tech company, techo, as everyone call it now. So what have been your key insights and learning from this process, if you could share some of them?
Look, we all in the business come to office to solve real customer problems. We currently run 4 different segments. In these segments, we engage with everyone. We serve 1,200 large global customers, 3,500 enterprises, million SMBs. What we did, we went to them and we asked them, tell us, what do we do? What we learned, people were buying networks earlier. People used to connect the network from one location to another location. That has changed with cloud. They're saying, we don't need network basis consumption. We don't need network basis of fixed assets. Help us transform the network basis consumption. That brought a new technology of SD-WAN. That's one thing which we launched. I think this was the first learning we got. Second piece, which they also said, for growth of business, tell us how do we engage with customers in a secure possible way. Today, I think I was listening to Ericsson team as well. We launched a product which is called Airtel IQ. Airtel IQ is a CPaaS platform which helps customers to engage with their customers in a more secure manner. And this is the only platform which has been launched by a telecom operator. So it is secure, it is flexible. Third thing, if this digital transformation need to happen, the data need to be stored inside the country. We launched our platform of data center. That was the third learning we got, and we went ahead and launched that business also. For digital transformation, everyone need to use the, I think Honorable Minister also mentioned about M2M. In India, currently, there are around 45 million devices which are there, out of which around 35 million devices are connected. We carry 17 million devices out of that. There are platforms which are being built on IoT. We are building those platforms to make sure at least this digital transformation also happens for them. So, starting from innovating the network, building the platform like IoT, CPaaS, Airtel IQ, and continuously investing onto infrastructure. That's the agenda which we are driving.
Right, right, interesting. With 5G, the industry rather keeps talking about optical fiber infrastructure and the requirement of it. But how important is the creation of new age infrastructure to power connectivity growth? Like we don't often talk about optic cables, subsea cables. So if you could elaborate a bit on that.
Look, I'll take you back to 2-3 years back story. 3-4 years back in around 1890, when this whole industry was transforming, we saw as Airtel, in 1890, our revenue used to be around 60,000 crore. It dipped to 56,000 crore. Most of the companies, when their revenue dip, stop investing into infrastructure. What we did, we scaled investment on infrastructure. And the only reason for that, this digital transformation can happen if there is a reliable underlying infrastructure available in this country. We are investing today on submarine assets. India currently has somewhere around 100 terabit of capacity. We carry around 45 to 50 terabit of that capacity. In next 12 to 18 months, this capacity will be upgraded to around 200 terabit. We are putting up 2 new cables for that. One is called To Africa, second is called CME-6, which will change the dimension how the internet is being consumed in the country. We are also building the large data centers. We have around 200 megawatt of data center capacity available. We'll be adding 200 megawatt more data center capacity. Because eventually, if the content need to come to country, it will be using these submarine assets, which someone need to build. And that's what we are building. If this data need to be reside in the country, someone need to build data center, we are building that. And there is a third part of this data center is also that these data centers can't be just sitting in top 5-10 cities. We are building the data centers which are 120 locations in the country so that if 5G use cases need to be executed, the data center is very close to the customer so that the latency and the cloud adoption can be managed. So there is a big need of infrastructure build-up, and that's where we are putting a lot of focus around.
Right, right. So lastly, you briefly touched upon how, what kind of business trends that are affecting the Indian businesses. But what are the global trends that you see that will affect the businesses here, overall landscape?
Look, the global trend, we already talked about. Supply chain issues are real. Despite of all the efforts which we have put in, the equipments, the CP are delayed. I think the innovation which is happening in the country, due to which we started manufacturing these equipment in India, I think that's a very good step. Otherwise, we would have had much more impacted ecosystem in next few years' time. Second piece which is also there is around startup ecosystem. Earlier, there used to be the largest companies who were there to solve the customer's problem, but now there are hundreds of startups which are coming up. We need to make sure we work together with them, we build the ecosystem with them, we share with them our issues, they come back and build the products with us together, and then we help them scale. So this new startup ecosystem and how do we embrace them to work together, I think that's another big trend which we are seeing globally as well as in India, which is there. So COVID, recession, chip shortage, startup ecosystem, I think these are 3 to 4 issues which are very, very real and impacting almost every business which is there in the country.
Thank you so much for the short but very insightful discussion. Thank you for your time.